So you live in the UK and that you are either pregnant or your wife is pregnant and you want to bring your mother to the UK, right? To help you with support, emotional support with childbirth, all of those things. We get a lot of visa requests like this, and there's also a lot of refusals, for people in this scenario. If your mother or your parents have been refused a visa in the past, right, while trying to visit you in the UK, or you're about to give birth or you're just giving birth, right, you need your mother around for emotional support, all of those things, right? So this video is actually for you because I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to actually apply for a visa, a UK visa for your mom to bring her to the UK, to support you through your childbirth, right? Maybe pre or post. Now, there is no specific visa option for pre-childbirth or post-childbirth visa option, right? So your mom is going to be applying for a UK visiting visa and they are going to be giving her a 6-month visa, which allows her to stay in the UK for 6 months, not more than 6 months. If you stay for more than 6 months, it's an overstay, right? So your mom can actually stay for 6 months. So this right here is one that we did for this woman, right? She lives in the UK. And she said, wanted to let you know that my mom got her visa yesterday. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I said, this is great news. Congratulations. So we have helped a lot of people in the UK get visas for their parents to come and visit them in the UK, right? We have a lot of testimonies, a lot of them, right? As a matter of fact, within last month, I think we got like 15 visas approved for UK visas specifically. And about 10 of them were people trying to bring their mom to the UK, right? As a matter of fact, one of those guys, Mr. Shams, we actually helped him book the flight ticket for the mother, right? So I just gave her Mrs. Joy's number, and Mrs. Joy booked a flight that's taking the mother to Gatwick, right? And I believe she has traveled right now. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step on how to actually get this thing done, right? And reduce the risk of refusal, while you are getting this done, right? So like I said before, for this visa, you're going to be applying for a visit visa. The duration of this visa is usually 6 months, and you can stay in the UK for 6 months or less. The purpose of this visit is visiting family, right? Visiting family. That's your mother is going to visit her family in the UK. That's the reason why you're actually doing this. People make the mistake of a friend of mine, somebody I know personally, was inviting the mom to the UK, and the purpose of visit, she wrote that the mom is coming to take care of her grandchildren, right? The visa officer interpreted this as the mom was coming to work in the UK illegally as a nanny. And of course, she was refused a visa on that ground, that she's not supposed to work on a visit visa. And when they reapplied, it was another refusal. And it's harder to get your visa approved, right, if you've gotten a refusal before, unless you can actually prove a change of circumstance, which will help customers with every now and then. So it's important that you pay attention to this, that the purpose of the visit is visiting family and not coming to take care of children or grandchildren or this or that. So they might interpret that as you are coming to work in the UK, and that's a reason for refusal, because you are not supposed to work, right? So what are the documents that you need to provide? Number one, you need to write an invitation letter for your mom, right? This invitation letter would have your name, right, proof of your relationship with your mom, the reason why she's coming to the UK, the purpose, she's coming to visit you, so that purpose is justified. You are the child, so this is your mother, that purpose is justified. So you also have the dates that she's going to be staying with you. My mom is good, she's going to be staying with me at my address. You put in your address there, that's where she's going to be staying, right? And she's going to be staying with me from this date to this date, which is the entire date that she's going to be coming to the UK. Now, I see a lot of refusal letters where people say that they're inviting their mom to the UK and their mom is going to be staying in the UK for 5 months. 5 months. That's a lot of time, right? So don't do that. So when we get clients like that, we'll tell them, please do not do this, right? Tell them that she's going to be staying for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Because if she's staying for 5 months, you have to actually show a larger amount of money as proof of funds, right? Because 5 months is a lot of time. You have to take care of her for that 5 months, right? If you say that she's staying for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even 1 month or 2 months, so that's reasonable. There's a lady that we did the application for. They were refused. The mother was refused a visa to visit them in the UK. So part of what they said in that refusal letter was that she said that she was going to be staying in the UK for 4 months. That 4 months is excessive. That there's no justification for her to stay for 4 months. So when I was doing the cover letter for them, after they got in touch with us, I said that we have reviewed her length of stay and we agree with the visa officer that 5 months is excessive. So she's going to be staying for just 1 month from this date to this date. Right? And of course, that visa got approved. I think that was the first parent visa that we got approved when we started like New Origin Travel Guide as a business, So you need to state the time and duration, that she's going to be staying with you at your address, and staying in the UK, of course, right? You can say she's going to be staying for 2 weeks or 1 month, or you put the exact date. She's going to arrive at this date and leave at this date, right? Very important. You also need to state emphatically on that invitation letter that you are going to be responsible for all her expenses. And you are going to be paying so and so amount of money, let's say £2,000 or £3,000 for her trip. This means that she is not spending any money. You are paying for everything completely. So that's how to do an invitation letter that's going to work. Now, this amount of monies, this specific dates and amount of monies, you also need to pay attention to it. Because if you say that you are going to be spending £3,000, right? And on the visa application form, they're going to ask you, is any other person paying towards your trip? You need to say yes. Who is this person? My daughter. Why is he paying towards your trip? Because she's inviting me to visit her family. They're going to ask you, how much is this person paying towards your trip? You're going to say £3,000, which is what is on the invitation letter. Right, $3,000, £3,000, or whatever it is in your local currency, you put it there. So this has to be the same. So if you put on the visa application form that your daughter is going to be paying £2,000, and on the invitation letter, your daughter is saying that she's going to be paying £1,000, that's a discrepancy, and that's a reason for a refusal. So these things have to tally. It's important, right? You have to tally. Now, the next thing is you need to prove your relationship with your mom, right, or your father that you're invited. So that they are sure that you didn't go online, pay somebody to give you invite to come to the UK. There has to be a relationship. So pictures together with your mom or your dad, very important. Birth certificate that has your mom or your dad's name, your own that has their name as your parents, very important as well, right? Whatever it is that you can provide to prove your relationship with this person that you are inviting is very important. Now, you also need to provide proof of your legal status in the UK. They want to make sure that the person that is inviting somebody is not an illegal immigrant in the UK. Very important. So you need to present your BRP, your share code, whatever it is, right? Now, you also need to provide proof of your address so that they can verify that you are inviting somebody to come and stay in your apartment in the UK. They want to make sure that this apartment actually belongs to you. So either your proof of ownership of the apartment or building, proof of your rental agreement, your council tax, something, your water bill, like something that has your name and address on it, because they want to know that you have legal right to be at this address. Very important, right? It's also important that there are funds available. So if you are inviting your mother to the UK, you have to present your bank statement as well. And your bank statement must have enough money to take care of your mom. Let's say, for instance, you're inviting your mom and you say you're paying £2,000 to her trip and you have £2,500. It's not going to work because they are looking out for you as well. If you pay £2,000 for your mom, can you survive on £500? So you have to prove how you can afford this trip, which is very important, right? So one of the things that we do for clients when they come to us is that in our cover letter, we do affordability and sponsorship arguments. So we will try to prove how the person is going to be able to afford this trip. So we'll look at the bank balance, we pay attention to expense, all of those things to actually tie it together to make a very strong application. We do that for every client that we actually do visa application for. So if you want to get in touch with us to actually help you with your visa application for your mom, for your dad, or even for yourself, what you need to do is to click on the first link that is pinned in the comment section below, or just go straight to the No Agent Travel Guide. That is noagenttravelguide.com. Right? You actually book a consultation with me personally. I'm going to talk to you, understand your circumstances, and help you through the process. So, but if your mother is well-to-do, right, you can take yourself off from sponsorship, and your mother is going to be sponsoring herself. By that, she's going to present her bank statement. Now, whether you are sponsoring her or she's sponsoring herself, she must provide her bank statement because they want to know what her financial situation is. They said that you can actually know about somebody if you look at their spending habits or their income, right? Most people, I've seen these people make this mistake where you want to invite your mom to the UK, you start sending a lot of money into your mother's account, right? Sometimes, most times, 90% of the time, it's actually a bad thing to do. There's a lady that we did application for, Shams, right? I talked about him before, I think in the previous video. They sold the land, right? And they sent 10 million naira into the mother's account. It became a problem because we had to explain and get documentation. Who sent this money to you? Call the person to give us the receipt of send. The person will write a letter stating that he sent this money for this purpose and the document of the land that was sold, everything. Now, if that money wasn't in her account, it would be easier for us to explain. You get what we did a good job and that visa actually got approved, Sometimes you don't need this kind of stress. So don't pay money into your mother's account. She mustn't have a lot of money to get a visa. She's an elderly woman. If somebody as young as I am is going to the UK to visit family or for vacation and my father is paying for my trip, then it's a red flag, right? Because I should be working, right? I should be earning money. I should be able to afford that trip. But for your mom, it's a different ball game. So that account where you send your mother 200k, 50k, 100k is completely fine. We can actually work with it. What we need to do is to calculate her income, her expenses, because on the visa application form, they're going to ask how much do you earn in a month. You're going to say, okay, they're going to ask you and say, what do you do for work? You have self-employed as an option, unemployed, retired, upkeep from family and friends, something like that. So we select upkeep from family and friends, right? Unemployed, okay, family and friends, how much do you earn from this family and friends? So we'll calculate the monies that your children send to you every single month, take an average and put it in that visa application form. That's how we do it. Is anybody paying towards your trip? Yes. Who is the person? My son or my daughter? How much are they paying? We'll do all of that. And it's good, right? So you don't have to start beefing up your mother or your father's account. Most times, you're actually shooting yourself in the leg, because it's going to hurt you and make the visa application a lot more difficult than it is, right? So don't do that. Now, another thing that I'll talk about accommodation evidence, where she's going to be staying. So return tickets, flight reservation. Now, I've seen people do visa application and they ask you and say, how much are you going to spend on this? You say £1,000. £1,000 is reasonable. So people will say £500. £500 is like ₦1,000,000 if you're in Nigeria, for instance. So that means that your flight, airpiece to London, should be around 1.5 million, I think. It's on top of my head. See, and you are saying that you are spending ₦1,000,000. That's £500 for entire trip. That's the reason for refusal, because you can't afford the trip. And the funny thing is that even though you have a lot of money in your supporting document, they will focus on the information you have provided in the visa application form. That's the challenge, right? Because that visa application form is the primary document that they look at. So whatever that they see there, the other document should actually collaborate what is on the visa application form. So if you put £500 on visa application form and write in your cover letter that you're going to be spending £2,000, and you have a bank statement that has £20,000 inside of it, you're going to get the refusal, because the claim you made on the visa application form is what they're actually going to focus on. I hope that makes sense, right? So of course, a return ticket, which you don't have to pay for, you have to present that as well. It's not like very strong. We've done visa application where we don't present this return ticket and they still get approved, right? So it's not like they will tell you that because you have not provided a return ticket that your visa is going to be approved. Now, it's also important that your mom proves ties to her home country. The reason why she's going to come back. As a matter of fact, every visit visa, you must provide ties to your home country. A reason why you are going to come back to your home country, because they want to believe that you're going to come back to your home country. So if they don't believe that you're going to come back, it's going to be an automatic refusal. I hope that makes sense. So what are these ties to your home country? Family ties, social ties, economic ties, stuff like that. So family ties are actually the strongest. Your father is here, your mother is traveling, right? So your father is providing the tie, a reason why she's going to come back. So there's this lady that we did a visa for. She lives in the UK. She has tried inviting her parents to come and visit her for I think they refused them visa for 3 or 4 times. They reached out to us and I said, do the visa separately, separate them, right? Do your mother's own first. Your father will provide a tie for the mom. We did the mother's own. It has gotten approved. So she called me and thanked me, and we did the father's own as well, right? Father's own, we're still waiting for a decision, and hopefully it's going to get approved as well, because the two of them now, one person is providing tie for the other person to travel and come back, right? That's the way the way it works, right? So sometimes family ties are actually the biggest ties, and the mistake a lot of persons make is that probably when you're filling this application, they're going to ask you and say, do you have any dependents? You say no. I advise everybody, and listen to me right now, please don't say no, you're dependent. That's somebody that depends on you. Put the person's information right there. Your mother probably have cousins that lives with her, or nephews, or your dad, or whoever. Put the person's information. Younger siblings, put the person's information right there. They depend on your mom for economic, emotional, whatever support. She cooks for them. So that's dependence. So the more dependence you have, the more reason that they believe that you're going to come back to your home country. That's very important, right? That's paramount. It's very important. So that's part of what you need to do to actually increase your chances of getting your UK visa for your parents approved, right? So there's also property ties. You have landed properties in Nigeria, so the chance of you coming back is very high, because this is investment into the earth, right? So you provide the property document in your name to actually prove this. I talked about social ties. You are a pastor, your mother is a pastor, she has an NGO, she has, all of those things. You bring them together and put them together, to enrich it. Now, family ties are the strongest. Property ties are also strong. Social ties are not as strong as all of these things I mentioned. And there are sometimes I would, as a matter of fact, I think when I was doing the cover letter for that man, so we did for the wife, we got approved, we did for the man too. When I was doing the cover letter, I brought in some kind of emotional stuff, right? I said something in the lines of, just last week, a friend of mine in church that was very healthy and who spoke like the weekend, Monday morning, he'll announce that he died, right? And it got me thinking about how temporal life is in itself, and the fact that what matters most is the time we spend with loved ones. That was me infusing some kind of emotional undertone into the application to actually help the visa officer to bring that emotion. So that's the thought process that goes into putting these cover letters together. So if you want us to actually do something like that for you, let me know. I think that's all the documents that you need, right? Basically. So I can do a recap in the comment section if you guys want me to. Let me know, right? And if you feel that I missed something, let me know in the comment section. And of course, I'm going to be responding to that. So, and if you want to get in touch with me, like I said earlier, just click on the first link that is pinned in the comment section below. Click on it, it's going to take you to noagenttravelguide.com. And of course, you can book a consultation, and we are going to do that. I've said this before, but some of the common mistake that people make when applying for visa for their parents is saying something like to take care of the baby, right? So you have given birth, or you're going to give birth, and you're saying that your parent is coming to take care of the baby, right? So that is basically employment or nanny role. So you're going to be getting a refusal because your mother is not supposed to be working on a visit visa, and you're telling them that she's coming to work for you, right? So whether paid or unpaid labor is not allowed, right? So you are not supposed to do that. So don't do that. So if you don't show strong ties to Nigeria, like a job, other children, property, husband, whatever it is, right? You're going to be getting a refusal, because this is how you actually prove that you're going to come back to your country. So there are things for you to come back to Nigeria too. So that's very important. Now, weak financial proof, if the money is not enough or it's not explained. So for people that do business, it's more difficult that you get a visa for them. That's the truth. People that do business, because most women, they receive business funds into their personal account, and it becomes a problem. They're receiving money into their personal account, and of course it becomes a problem over a long period of time. So it's important to try and separate a business fund from personal account, something like that, from personal funds, right? So that it's easier, and don't try to beef up your account. As a guy that came to us, he was refused 2 times, and I said, I wish you had gotten in touch with me the first time you were refused. This would have been easier for us, because they refused them. Then I had to go and register a business and say that the woman has a business. Just complicated a lot of things, right? We are still working on that application, with an angle to see whether it's going to work. But I've told them that the chances are actually very slim. I wish they have gotten in touch with me the first refusal that they've gotten. We would have done a better job for them, right? It's also better to frame this trip a short-term family supporting and bonding trip, right? That's basically how we actually approach it. That you're going there with to bond your daughter, the need for a family and all of those things. And yes, UK visa officers actually value family connections and bond. They understand those things, right? And it's also, like I said before, make sure she has a clear reason to return home to her home country, whether Nigeria or Ghana or wherever, right? Now, another thing is that don't complicate things with over providing documents. Keep your application very simple, at the simplest. There was somebody that got a refusal. When he came to us, I said, this is an overload of documents. The visa officer was confused. The documentation was mad, right? So try and keep these things as simple as possible. In the cover letter, we also make reference to some of the supporting documents, right? If not all, to actually tie it home and, make all the argument from justification of purpose to our trip affordability to sponsorship to ties to our home country, so everything basically, right? Including financial analysis, right? Her income, her expenses. We explain all of those things, large deposits, upkeep money from my family, friends, whatever it is. We explain all of those things in great details here. So that's exactly how that works. I hope this makes sense. If you have any challenges, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you actually enjoyed this video, also say thank you, Gerard, for this UK visa application tutorial, and I would actually respond to that comment or like that comment as a matter of fact, right? So again, if you want to get in touch with me, all you need to do is to go to noagenttravelguide.com right now to actually book a consulting session with me, and I'm going to sit down and talk to you personally and figure out a way forward, right? And there are people that come to us and I say, don't apply now, do this, fix, put this in place before you actually do your application. From some people, I tell them, okay, you're in a good position, apply and do this and do that. Most people will say, Gerald, help me with this process, and of course we can also help you with the process of bringing your mom to the UK, just like we have done for countless others just like yourself.